How would you like to make money in your sleep? Cool, me too. Let me know when you figure it out. Today I'm going to talk about how to launch your SaaS business with a maximum traction and set it up for explosive growth. So let's jump into it. First and foremost, I've launched 3 businesses, SaaS businesses, using, well, actually this is what I used to refine this exact strategy. So I had to do it all again. This is exactly what I've done. I've done bits and pieces of this. Now I'm putting it all together for your benefit. So let's jump in. First and foremost, start with marketing as soon as you have an idea. This is what I call pre-launch marketing. And pre-launch marketing is going to be the difference between having some growth or nothing and earning every single visitor customer that comes through the door. So start marketing early as an idea. This helped us really drastically at Mailshake. We launched in 2015. We started February with the idea. February 15, we launched the product in July. And between that point, we had 3,000 people on our email list. We started blogging and getting a few hundred, a few thousand, and a few thousands of people coming through the site over those like 4 or 5 months. So it's never too early to start your marketing. Number 2, create your website. Make it beautiful. Design matters. First impressions are very critical. When I say make your website, I don't go to Wix. Don't go don't go make a WordPress theme. Get a designer. Go on Dribbble. Hire your favorite designer there. It'll cost you maybe a few $1,000. It'll be very worth it. You're going to create a splash page. Don't go use a splash page software. Actually make something. Now, you can expand it over time, but make it beautiful, because the first impression is the difference, and the design is the difference between you looking like some random Joe Schmo idea, because let's face it, anybody can start a SaaS company these days, and a funded startup that look like they're going to do something big. So I'd rather go on the latter route, because again, first impressions, what people think is more important than what actually is there. So, all right, the next thing is pre-launch blogging. I talked about marketing early and often. I'm talking about blogging once a week. And if you can't blog, that's a bullshit excuse. Hire a blogger on ProBlogger, job board. I think you can get somebody for like $50 to $500 an article, depending on the technical nature, the complexity of the actual topic. But you can get content written. You can edit it. If you suck at editing, like myself, I sucked at writing my whole life. So I started writing content via just recording myself talk, and then somebody transcribed it and I edited it, and eventually kind of moved into a different process, but more on that later. All right, so building relationships with influencers and top bloggers in the industry. This is really one of the most important parts you can do before you launch your company to have maximum success, because these influencers and bloggers are who you want to write about your company, who you want to use it, who you want them to rant and rave about how awesome this is. So first, easiest thing to do is to invite influencers after you've got a couple blog posts, a couple months of writing, and top bloggers to write for your blog. So they're guest posting on your site. You can interview them. Whatever it is, get them on your site and give before you get. So then at least they know who you are. Now, when you set that relationship from a blogging or creating content or interview perspective, you're doing something in a way where it's a value add, not like, hey, I'm launching this software, can you take a look, right? That's what you say after the interview, after the blog post goes up, after you have even a prototype that's working. Another important factor is to build off your competitor's weakness. Go on G2, go on Capterra, look at their testimonials, look what people love, like the top 5 things people love and the top 5 things people hate. We did this at Mailshake. We've done this at pretty much every single one of our companies. When we bought the company Right Inbox, bought it in 2018, early 2018, and when we were looking at our competitors, everybody complained that there was really shitty customer support. So what was our first marketing thing that we did? Customer support. We made sure we were really great at what everybody complained about the competitors doing. And being great at one thing can actually get you customers. Or help you keep your customers, right? So either way, figure out what your competitors suck at and make sure you're awesome at those things. Now, you're not gonna be awesome at everything. At Mailshake, we did this, and we found that most of our competitors, people were complaining. The biggest complaint was, it's too complex to use. it's too rigid. It's like, it takes me forever to learn, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just hard, right? So what did we do? We made it the exact opposite. We said simple, easy to use, and people also complain about price, so we made it dirt cheap to start with. Now, obviously, we would kind of increase prices from there, but that's a different story. Next is to get your prototype in front of 5 to 10 ideal customers. Now, you will not know, and these lists of customers, ideal customers, will probably not be your final actual customers you want. This is just people to actually give you feedback. So wherever you are, whenever you are in your state of business, you've got some idea of your customers. Go talk to them. This does a couple things. First, it helps you get feedback on your idea, because it probably sucks. It probably sucks the way you have it in your head. So whatever you get onto paper, and when I say a prototype, I'm talking about get a design, your fancy designer that made your website, or whoever, to build the UX and like InVision or something of that nature, so that it's a working, clickable design. It doesn't actually have to be coded on the back end. Heath Shaw is really good at this. He's launched like 7 or 8 companies, different products, and he's gotten so much feedback through this iteration. He does it 6 or 7 times. He goes for like a year before building anything. I don't recommend doing that deep. I just mean at least go 1 or 2 rounds of feedback, so you iron out the things that are probably either things you didn't think about, they're blind spots, or things that what you thought your customers or ideal customers wanted are incorrect assumptions. And you can even go as far as getting this in the hands of influencers and bloggers as it's kind of early beta or late alpha stage. So this is kind of after it's built, because they will give you feedback. And when they say something good, and most people will say something good because you've gone through a couple of rounds of customer iterations and that you've fixed a lot of the things, you can ask them for reviews, or you can maybe ask them to write about it on their site, what have you. So one thing that's really important here is to spend 6 months of pre-launch marketing. Anything greater, you end up just spending a lot of time when you can just launch. Anything shorter, there's still more momentum to be gained. So that's kind of what I find is that sweet spot. It's something that people can kind of go to. So let's just say it's the summertime. Well, hey, we're launching this winter, right? Or like this fall, or we're launching in January. It's something that people can kind of measure, right? It's kind of the movie theater technique, right? They start promoting a movie trailer 12 months in advance, or really aggressively 6 months. So that's kind of what I recommend. Next is to guest post on top sites in your industry, or top blogs in your industry. Really, really powerful here. Again, just same thing as inviting influencers, bloggers. It might even be the same people. You want to get yourself out there. We did this with the launch of our ebook, 100 Days of Growth. It's sold about 45,000 copies so far. Actually, most of those were like year 1, year 2. But what we did when we launched is for the first, I think it was like 4.5 months, every week a guest post went live. So we were top of mind. And so it was just really good to keep that momentum. It didn't help us with a bang. That was our email list, but it kept that momentum and kind of the conversation going about our ebook. It works the same way for SaaS. All right, last 2 here. Pre-sell your software and give a huge discount, right? Why? Because you want those people who you're going to get feedback from, to put their money where their mouth is. If they don't want to do that, you either don't have a sellable product you can't charge for, go back and keep building, or do something different. Number 2, people are going to be willing to pay you money, right? Over time, you are going to build that audience. And if you can't get that money exchange happening, you haven't built enough trust, a brand or product that's worthy. So go back to building phase. And you can actually, we did this a couple times over, and you can actually generate sizable amounts of revenue. I'm talking $5, $10, $20, $30,000 to fund whatever you are building from selling early on. And the last thing I'll talk about, and this is kind of optional, it's worked really well for me personally, is lifetime deals. And use lifetime deals not to just that's your marketing strategy. No, lifetime deals should be to build up your user base, right? So let's just say you had a really awesome product, and 1 out of every 10 person that downloaded it, used it, purchased it, shared it with their friends. If you had 100 users, let's say that's probably maybe 200 users or 200 customers on day 1. If 10% of people would share it, that's a really crappy number, 20 people. So then month 2, let's say you got another 200, and you got 20 people shared it, so now you have 420, and 10% of the people those share it, so now you have 460, and that number is really slow, right? So just imagine this: if you got 10,000 people and 10% of your users shared it and spread the word, now you have 1,000 people sharing and spreading the word. So we did this at Mailshake. We generated about 6,000 lifetime deal customers when we launched, and around the time we launched. And what that did was it sparked the word of mouth. We're about 22,000 users on our platform, so 6,000 to 22,000 in about 2.5, 3 years. And our biggest traffic source, our biggest channel for growth has been word of mouth. And it's because we did lifetime deals. It's because we had this exact launch strategy that I want you guys to steal, use, modify. So don't have to do one, but I highly recommend it, especially if you've got no personal brand, no leg up in the industry, or you're competing in a crowded market.